It is Tuesday, my dudes. Thanks for tuning in to VR Radio. Hope you all are having a fantastic day so far. What's up, Drew Wade? He says, WTF is this, and why is this recommended to me? I love the support. Honestly, it's truly heartwarming. Folks, we're going to be playing some tunes today. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome to VR Radio. Hey, glad to hear it, Squid King. Thanks for tuning in, man. Inchworm says, what exactly is this? You know, I think the main way I can describe this is a discussion. Music, vibrations, anything we want to talk about, you know. Those persons on the blacklist by Sweet Berries. Folks, I have been thinking deeply about important topics, and I think the first thing we must tackle is the great debate. Honestly, folks, it's plagued humanity for many a time, and that is a calzone considered pizza? Folks, we got Sweet Berries by Handbook coming up next. That was Sweet Berries by Handbook. I think the general consensus is that a calzone is considered a pizza. My reasoning that it could be considered not is honestly the idea that the calzone, that's how I'm going to pronounce it, the calzone. The calzone itself is honestly, it's sort of wrapped up, right? It's not open front, and I feel like a true pizza has to be Has to be exposed. I mean, I think that's one of the main characteristics. Hey, Adley, what's up, man? We're trying to get to the bottom of this. First off, how are you doing? Oh, am I coming through? Yeah, it's coming through my microphone as well because of the mixer. But hey, man, how's your Tuesday? I'm digging it, man. Speaking of lunch, is a calzone a pizza? So a calzone it's sort of like I would describe it as a pizza, but it's folded. So to me, it kind of puts a line between pizza and sandwich.
You see, I feel like if you say a calzone is like a pizza and then pose the question, is a calzone considered a pizza? I'm going to have to go with yes, because that's like the basis for all my calzone knowledge.
Right.
Is you saying it's like a pizza.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a logical fallacy there. Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, it's a pizza.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. It's up for debate. I would say I agree with that. Honestly, just because of the ingredients itself. You know, we got like.
Oh, so okay. What are they? Hold on. I gotta get Google up here.
Yeah,
Calzone.
you can go ahead and Google that up.
Oh, okay. So it's like a thin pizza crust, but it's like folded over.
That's right. And where my
that kind of looks more like a pie to me than a.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, it sort of rides a line between, you know, pie and sandwich, pizza hybrid.
The way that you described it, I kind of thought, well, it has to be a pizza, but now that I look at it, it's like, I don't know.
It's tough, man.
The thing is, what if I was making a calzone and I messed it up, and there's exposed ingredients on the outside. Like I cooked it for too long and it kind of exploded a bit. There's exposed ingredients on the outside. Like, what's the point where my calzone becomes a pizza, right?
When it transforms. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would have to be purposeful. If it's accidentally spilling out ingredients, I would say it's still a calzone. But if you're purposefully, you know, like with intention, with free will, putting the ingredients onto the top.
Well, I don't know. Do we even have free will? Like,
I think when it comes to calzones, we do. Dan Crawford here, he says, thanks for the donation, Dan. He says, a calzone is a pizza that has transcended and surpassed its original form. We must acknowledge its origins while appreciating its new identity. Yeah.
So a calzone is a pizza if it's deliberate.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
By the same token, if I get a pizza and I fold it over itself, does that not become a calzone if I say it is?
You know, I think because its original form was a pizza, when you say it's a calzone, then it has that new identity, right?
Well, the thing is, how far back are we going to go in originality here? Because its original form is like flour in a field and tomatoes. Like,
so you could just say
I get everything's a calzone, man.
I think we found the answer.
Yeah.
Everything is a calzone.
Like, I'm a calzone, you're a calzone.
Yeah, we are all calzone. We found it. Well, thank you, Adley. That's very enlightening.
I feel like I've learned something today.
Yeah, you know, you learn something every day. We are calzone.
We are calzone.
That's great. Hey, Adley. Peace, man.
Bye.
Folks, we are calzone. Folks, that was Far Fells by New Job Is. Cataline Christie makes a very good point here. She says, if a blind person tastes a calzone and a pizza and they say they're both a pizza, then it's a pizza. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. The sort of closed-eye test of 1950, they ended up doing that on various foods. You know, it works. Folks, thanks for tuning in to VR Radio. Got some more questions coming at you. If you would like something deep dived today, because that's a word, post it in chat. You know, what should be the question next? We've gotten to the bottom of the calzone mystery. You know, post your suggestion. Let's hear it. That being said, we got Haiku by No Heights. Keep it real. Hey, welcome to the stream, Lady Indigo. And hey, thanks, Incognito. Appreciate the 99 cents. Interesting question from J.K. Masters. You know, do you think it was a good idea for PlayStation to do VR? I do, man. I mean, I think they've cornered the market pretty well. And like the whole, you know, console gamer that wants to get into VR. So, hey, more power to them. Folks, we got a Sensory Fate by Nim. Make sure to post your questions in chat if you'd like to discuss here on this beautiful Tuesday. Keep it real. Where do I see this channel in 5 years? You know, I'd love to see multiple hosts on it, you know, not just me. So, you know, I'm always keeping an eye out for talented young folks that like making videos, telling stories about technology. What's the biggest misconception about VR, in my opinion? You know, I think it's that it is only to be used for escapism. I think it can be used for quite the opposite, for entering the present moment. Hey, SK, you're live on air.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I am okay. First, you may hear some echoing. Please don't mind that. I don't know how to fix that.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. I figured.
Second of all,
Oh yeah. No, go for it. Second of all.
second of all, I've been really tired.
Oof.
And
Send some energy your way. Well, hey,
sense of energy.
I had to get our resident pastry expert. Oh, she disconnected. Folks, we are answering the question, is a donut without a hole still a donut? I think this is honestly one of the most important... I say that about every question, but I honestly think one of the most important questions that's going to be facing us...
What just happened there?
I think he disconnected.
Oh, okay.
So I dropped.
What were you saying?
You being one of the resident radio pastry experts, I thought this question would be absolutely perfect. Is a donut without a hole still considered, a donut?
Well, if you called it a donut, it'll be in and of itself a donut. A donut cannot just be defined by its identity. If you called it a donut, it will now become a donut.
Mm-hmm. So it's more based on the sort of perception, the name that the individual puts on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen we have a donut shop over here that I mean, you can barely even call them donuts. They put like cereal on them. They put every single thing on the donut.
They put their own spin on their quote-unquote donuts, is it?
Right. So it's at that point. What would you say is your favorite sweet pastry?
My favorite sweet pastry has gotta go with scones.
Scones. That's a good answer.
Yeah. I am, after all, the pastry reviewer of Disrupt. You gotta take my word as gospel.
Yeah, no, that's the official title there. Yeah. So you heard it here first, folks. Scones is the pastry of the week. I'm taking it.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Quick question. Would you call yourself a dreamer or a realist? I forgot the proper word for it, but are you more like a realist or a dreamer?
Dang, that's a good question. A realist. I'm typing it.
Yeah.
Just so I can think about it for a second. I like to think I'm a dreamer that runs everything through a realist lens, if that makes sense. So like, taking like a concept that really excites oneself, like that's really cool. Like, oh, I'd love to do that. That'd be like such a cool concept to do. But then running it through, like, okay, how feasible is it? Is it possible? Kind of taking it from there. Does that make sense?
So you're not. So basically, you're telling me you're a dreamer, but you're not like it's not very ambitious. You like to think of it realistically, not in a very ambitious way.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's I think everything has to be grounded in reality, and there's a fine line between delusion and striving for something great.
Delusion. Interesting. Because I like to perceive you as someone who's really philosophical. So this was a really interesting answer coming from you.
Well, thank you. I try. What about you? Dreamer or realist?
I guess I would go for the same answer you told me. Like, I like to dream big, but not too big.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, it's like I wanna do this one thing, but under my own.
Oh no, she disconnected. You dropped her. There she is. Right on.
Oops.
No
Sorry
sweat.
there.
No sweat. No sweat.
Anyways, as I was saying, under my own circumstances, is it really something I want to go for? That's kind of like my mindset
Yeah.
for being a dreamer.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's a good way to go about it. I mean, depending on the individual, but it's like, you know, it leads to striving for something, but not being too disappointed if it can't exactly match what one has in their brain.
Like, have a middle ground on expectations.
Well said. Well said.
Well, yeah. And another thing is, are you more of a nihilist or a pessimist?
Nihilist or optimist? I think pessimist and...
No. Pessimist.
Pessimist. Isn't that sort of nihilism in a way?
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of, I guess.
I mean, if I had to put myself on those two, I'd probably say pessimist rather than nihilism. I'm not a huge fan of like nihilism in the general sense. Yeah, I would need to do a little more research on those two terms to...
Okay. Well, I guess that's all. And don't remember, folks, in the stream, this week's pastry is scones. The pastry of the week is scones.
Brilliant.
Coming from the pastry reviewer of Disrupt, adios.
Peace, SK.
Bye-bye.
Scones, gotta love it. Want some scones now. Folks, thanks for tuning in. That was Change My Mind by Saint Weekend. Pug Jesus says, you sound down. You alright? I'm actually doing really good today, man. I found, Mondays are always kind of, iffy for the radio show, and Tuesdays I kind of get back into the flow of things from the weekend. So, yeah, man, I'm chilling. Thanks for asking. It's nice of you. We got Calla Lilies by Quite Low coming up. Thanks for tuning in. Dan Crawford asks, Slavo Zizek or Jordan Peterson? I thought the debate they had over the weekend was honestly one of the best debates I've watched. It was interesting to see two gentlemen that respect each other, but also are steadfast in their beliefs. The way they described, the way they sort of communicated wasn't coming from a place of like, I'm right, you're wrong. It was more of an exploration of their two ideas. That being said, I'm a huge Jordan Peterson fan. He's absolutely brilliant. Folks, we got a deep question from Barry Markham. He says, is the Illuminati real? I think we're gonna have to drag someone in for this one. James Carter. Oh, he disconnected. All right. Hey, it's Suki. You're live on air. How are you? Where are you from?
Fun.
Oh, can't hear you too well there.
Hang on.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, yikes. Sorry, Tsuki. Mic is not coming through too good. Hey, Ruo. You're live on air. What's up, man? Ruo. Mic check.
Hey Jack, how are you, man?
How you doing, dude? Good to chat with you again.
It's weird, there's this huge delay.
Yeah, you might want to mute the stream. I got the music coming through on the microphone here.
Oh, now it's better. No more delays.
Cool.
It's funny, Jack. I've been listening for quite some time. It's the first time I'm talking to you. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, I always see your name in chat and stuff, so it's glad I can finally chat. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Israel.
Oh, right on.
I found being here in the Disrupt. It's a really interesting community. I've been through a lot of Discord community, and there's something really special here. So, congrats on creating that.
Oh, well, hey, glad to hear it, man. Thanks for being a part.
Also, if you just want to know a bit about me, I'm 21, I like science, and to answer your question if the Illuminati exists, I only have one answer. God, I wish they do. I wish the world would be this most interesting place where all our crazy thoughts could come to life.
That's a really interesting answer. Why do you wish they exist? Just for like the craziness of it, or?
Well, have you ever known a game called Deus Ex?
I have never played it though.
Yeah, well, the original one was created in, I think, around 2000, and I never played it. But in its sequel, one of the possibilities was letting the Illuminati control the world. And what I found most fascinating about it, that it was this positive ending. Everything is controlled, everything is monitored, and yet everybody's prospering, everybody is enjoying this economic growth. And I kept thinking to myself, it's probably the most horrible idea there is, and yet I'm intrigued.
So was it, if I'm understanding correctly, it was kind of the concept of like a utopia, but everyone was...
Yes, well, it's a utopia of giving up privacy and giving up control in order to create one unified goal, the surrender of the individual will. It's a concept that I'm always struggling with because on one hand we want to make humanity the greatest there is, but on the other hand we want to be happy, and these often clash, right?
Right. That's interesting. I feel like there's always that innate, there's always the innate outlier within the tribe, right? Like, a group of individuals can have a common goal, right? But then there's always, just by human nature, there's the individual that does not want that common goal. They want, personal...
Yeah, Jack, you actually created on your radio a simulation of that. Would you like to hear that small story?
I'm very interested, yeah.
Basically, remember the day we all changed our name into Jacks?
Yeah.
So there was this one guy whose name I will not say to keep his privacy, who didn't want to change his name to Jack because he was afraid he wouldn't get chosen. And then his name was chosen for him, and he kept wanting to change it back.
Huh.
So basically we were all giving up our individuality, and then this one guy came into the chat just wanting to talk, and he didn't want to surrender his individuality, and then his individuality was changed for him for a joke.
That's interesting. And when I think of that, like even in the the broader scope beyond Jack, it's almost like, is it a objectively positive thing to remove the individual identity, right?
Yeah, it's really weird because you can give up your own individual right for a joke, for a cause, whatever. But when you try to convince someone else to do it, you feel this sort of strange feeling because you gave up yours and he wouldn't. You feel as if you have some hostility.
Yeah, I think it's almost like imposed giving up of the individual, or doing it voluntarily. I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, and to summarize, that's how it's connected to the Illuminati. A concept of a group of people controlling the world in one aspect or another, but not in order to benefit themselves or create more richness, rather to direct the world in a more whatever agenda they have. Right? Interesting aspect of the Illuminati. Probably the only sort of semi-supporter you'll find.
Yeah. the realistic explanation. No, I love it, man. That's great.
Thanks, Jax. It's been fun talking to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise, man. Peace. The Illuminati. That's a really interesting point about individuality. Thanks for bringing that up, Ruo. I, for one, am going to remove all of my individuality and rebrand everything to PewDiePie. It's going to be a great addition to the channel. Digging it. Folks, we got let's see. We got Sense of Beauty coming up next. Sense of Beauty off of the 2018 album by EHOU. Absolutely brilliant. A great question from Barry Markham again. He's absolutely dropping the bangers today. Are we alone in the universe? That's an interesting one. I think obviously the universe is too large. I mean, it's infinite. We are a small speck, a grain of sand, a dust particle spinning through the infinite cosmos. And to think we are the only ones spinning through that cosmos, I think, is inherently... Oh, we got maintenance coming. Give me 1 second, guys. I think there's someone knocking at my door. My dog is barking. I guess we're not alone in the universe. Hey, Lady Indigo. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself, Nick?
Doing alright, can't complain. Where are you calling from?
Same place from last time, Texas, my dude.
Alright on. Good old Texas. Well, hey, I saw you chatting. You have a question, but first, we gotta ask, are we alone in the universe?
I thought you never asked.
Sorry, there's someone knocking on my door right now. This is great. Give me 1 second. Right? Sorry to leave you there, Lady Indigo.
It's okay.
Changing some light bulbs. Yeah, it's all good. So, yeah, are we alone? I honestly, I think it's too big for there not to be.
Yeah. I think we're just like the cake metaphor.
The cake metaphor?
Yeah, so like, say you have a cake and it has 10 separate layers. Each layer is a different flavor, a different consistency, like different density, different vibration. But we're just like on the third layer where everything's kind of dense, but we're like at the very top of that third layer because we're transitioning, I think, as a species.
That's interesting. So it's...
So like, say the third layer is the third dimension.
Okay.
I think of it like that. Each layer is a dimension.
Right.
It's all part of this one big cake. So the higher the cake, like the higher place you are in the cake, the less density it is, but like the higher vibration.
Interesting. So like each layer is considered a new, maybe like technological advancement, or is it?
Like technological advancement, awakening and vibration, that sort of thing, anything and everything.
That's interesting.
But like we're not the only cake, we're a cake shop. Think of it that way.
That's a good way of putting it. That kind of relates to like the whole idea of like trying to visualize the fifth dimension, because we can only, obviously have like the 2D. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Let's see.
So you said you had a different question. I'm intrigued. What is this?
Yeah. So it kind of goes into the whole reality vibrational thing. And it might sound kind of silly at first, but what is your viewpoint on like the metaphysical and like horoscopes and vibes and energy and that school of thought?
So I think it's almost dependent on the individual, like how much they believe in it, right? Like for the past couple of years, I've gotten really into like, yoga and kind of like the whole energy, like visualizing different healing within the, whatever you want to call it, chakras. And I found just having that sort of brain process, like visualizing it in that sense almost helps, whether it be placebo, I don't know, but adversely, if one didn't believe in it and then went to a class for that, I think it would not have the same effect as one that does believe it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's It's interesting. The whole like horoscope thing as well. Like, I think it kind of describes some people, and it's sort of almost like a pathway that's presented, and it's like, okay, if you're born in this age and then you have those characteristics, you can follow that specific path, and it may aid. I don't know. What about you?
For me, I used to be like super, like almost religiously into it, but then I realized, like you said, some people fall into the patterns and some people don't.
Yeah.
But I think it's up to the individual too. But my personal view on it is, there's more than just a sun sign. There's also moon signs and every other planet that was like positioned when you were born, including the moon. But so it's like a mishmash. So horoscopes only go by sun sign. So if it doesn't seem like it's completely accurate, that could be a factor. But I just see horoscopes like Chinese zodiac and Western zodiac and all that sort of thing. It's like just a basic blueprint, like your punch card when you entered Earth, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I also find like the like you mentioned, the sort of the moon patterns. Like if the moon has an effect on the ocean, like the waves, right? I mean, it's not too crazy to think that it could have an effect on our bodies, right? Our thought process.
We are 70% water, so.
Yeah, exactly. It's what's that term? Like, is Mercury in retrograde? Where people always ask that, like when stuff is going weird. Yeah, I always find that funny. Sometimes it does line up. Like sometimes my month will be going weird. I'm like, let me search if Mercury's in retrograde, and it is. I don't know. Yeah.
It happens a lot, but as long as you don't pay attention to it, you do your own thing, I feel.
Exactly. Just keep on rolling with the flow.
For real though.
That's great. Well, hey, Lady Indigo, keep it real down there in good old Tish.
Yeah, man, you do too in Georgia.
I'll try. Thanks for calling in.
Have a good one.
Peace. Horoscopes, folks. The zodiac sign today is tardigrade. Your future is held by what you accomplish. Ace in Texas. I've heard.
Howdy.
What's up, man? I've heard you have an unfortunate story to tell.
Yeah. I think it actually would hit a little bit home to us VR folks.
All right, I'm all ears. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So you know how Texas itself is such a large state, right?
Right.
Yeah, we have a lot of communities in a lot of different places. We have like the Austin Youngbloods, the Houston Youngbloods, the Dallas Youngbloods, all kind of like each city of folks who are either in college or right out of college pursuing VR, AR as a career, right? And so I was doing research yesterday, just kind of in general checking about how the other communities are doing. And I go up to Waco, Texas. And I go up to a club that I knew about previously, the Baylor College Virtual Reality Club, right? I never got to meet any of the guys a part of the club. But it just so happened that one of the individuals in that club just so happened to no longer be with us anymore for emotional reasons or whatever it may be. They kind of went into more dwell into the news article. But yeah, no, it was kind of interesting to know that at least someone here in Texas who was a part of this like young blood VR AR culture, part of this club at a university. Is no longer with us for these kind of stronger reasons, more powerful reasons. I mean, like I've had my questioning before. I've had my thoughts, my own personal things to go through. But to know that it kind of like caught one of us is just kind of my personal little story for today. My little unfortunate story. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
What do you think about that? Yeah.
Is it related to like sort of mental issues, like anxiety?
Yeah, mental. I mean, it was what is it called? They had that individual themselves had lost other folks within their family at a very short time span, like a sister and a father. And so it was just kind of like a very strong, powerful force that kind of eventually got him to do the same. So it was just kind of yeah. But I literally remember him like posting messages on LinkedIn, Facebook for the club's behalf and seeing how they're doing. I'm like, nice. I'm glad to see that there's another folk out there kind of also pursuing VR. I just found out about it last night before I went to bed, so it's kind of like still fresh in my head right before I head off to my AR job here.
Yeah.
Just like, oh man, it got us.
Aye, man. Fallen soldiers. Keep on fighting. It's rough.
Yeah. And but it kind of gives me a bit of a stronger purpose, I think, to kind of continue the VR train or the AR train, because knowing that like it would have been him also pursuing that too. So even though I never met the person, I just kind of take a bit of heart to those type of things.
Yeah, no, I feel it, man. It's tough.
Cool.
Hey, I'm glad to hear
what were you talking about beforehand? Sorry to kind of turn the tone or the tune down a little bit.
No, it's interesting. I honestly think there does come with VR development some like interesting mental discussions, and obviously the guy that you're mentioning, it doesn't sound like it was related to VR, but there was a Twitter account I was reading earlier, and I forget the name of it, but he's a pretty well-known sort of VR creator, and he was sort of having some mental issues last year with specifically the concept that we are creating a technology that has the ability to take us farther from nature, has the ability to separate us from that which we came. And it's interesting. It's like this, like you and I are both working in VR, and I think we can both see some of the sides where it can go pretty dark. And that's kind of scary to be working on a technology like that, where it's like, okay, it's like walking down a cliff and like seeing the edge, like seeing the drop off and being like, oh, okay, gotta make sure not to go there. We gotta just keep walking up the cliff.
It's the true escapism.
Yeah. It's the ultimate form of that.
Yeah, and it's kind of dependent on each person as to how they take it. Yeah, you're right. This incident itself wasn't VR related. But it is like, I remember when I had gone through some things, VR was a very nice, what is it called? Technology to at least adopt into my regimen, because it offered that escapism. Now that everything gets kind of said since left, now VR is kind of this platform technology innovation, not really the escapism that I once saw, but I can definitely see some folks out there maybe have that escapism mindset. But it's good, bad, but it's definitely kind of everyone's own journey.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's almost an inevitability. I mean, people use, phones, computers for escapism, even books for escapism. Others find the balance, so it's perhaps that's the very nature of it.
And for the question, are we alone in the universe? I'm pretty sure there's something else out there. I don't think we're the only things out there. That's kind of like a I feel like a given. Like, oh man, the universe is huge. There has to be something else out there. Coming from a biologist standpoint, like even the smallest microorganism, that's already life on a different planet, or already aliens found.
For sure.
Not yet. But if ever that does happen, bam, happened.
Spoken like a true alien from outer space.
Yeah.
No, I feel like they would be among us, honestly.
That'd be interesting. I've kind of had some thoughts about that, but I'm like, no, that's too spooky, too crazy.
Yeah, man. It's I think we're gonna get really far out here, so stick with me. I think there is a certain frequency that we can tune into. That
like maybe a fourth dimension-esque frequency.
Yeah, a certain mindset, a certain vibration that seems to open up these communications with things that are wildly beyond our normal everyday experience. So whether that's aliens, whether that's mind patterns, who knows?
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with that, and I feel like I've felt some of these experiences, so to say, and I've categorized some of them myself, but it's still very, very hard for me to understand. It's kind of like something that is beyond human consciousness in a way.
Words.
And one of those being like unconditional love, which is just like so powerful, it's hard to kind of like wrap your head around and feel. So it's kind of just like, wow, it's there.
Absolutely. Hard to put into human words.
I agree.
Maybe one day we'll find the language. But hey, man.
Hopefully.
Always good chatting with you, Smexes.
Yeah, and I appreciate you letting me tell the story. I know it was a bit unfortunate, a bit on the downside, but I do appreciate it mainly for the fact just to get it out there for just for other people to know too, I think.
Oh, hey, always been a community around here. So, hey, have a good Tuesday, man.
Yeah, have a great one.
Keeping it real. Sith Lord says, what are we talking about? VR on some Joe Rogan podcast? Hey, thanks for tuning in, Sith. We like to discuss the important topics like, is a pizza a calzone? Tune in tomorrow for the answer to that pressing question. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in to VR Radio today. It's been absolutely brilliant chatting with you. The fantastic questions. Hope you enjoyed the Majesty video yesterday. Hope you had a great Earth Day. And the Minecraft documentary. It's pretty cool to see it doing some numbers. So, hey, have a fantastic Tuesday. I love you all. Peace and love. Why is it so? I nailed the outro.